Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Had a few questions on the rack setup on the Bille bar and the rack and how it's mounted and the Retrax cover. So I thought we'd take a couple minutes, go through that today, do a quick one, and talk about them for a second. So let's do it. So to start, everything is mounted off of the Bille bars, which are basically this 1x4" extruded aluminum with the grooves in it, the T-track. And so there's pretty simple, not much to them. If you can see, one bar goes the whole way across, goes into these brackets. These brackets go down underneath the Retrax and then mount securely under there. Now the reason why I chose the Bille bars was because I had already had the Retrax. So I needed something that would mount, that would go under this. There's some other options. There's some other options you can get that you get new rails for, you know, but even the new Retrax rails that would be slotted would have allowed me to use, I think, a Yakima or something. It's like an additional $400. The Bille bars are only $5. So we just went that route. Let's see. And then this is just your standard Retrax MX1. And then I don't know how well we can see that, but this is your mounting bracket here, comes down through underneath right here, and then it just securely clamps to the top of the bed rails. And then on top of that, we went ahead and we added the ARB base rack, which I chose specifically for its width, because if you can see, there's still some space between here and here. The farther I go this way, the harder it is to try and access things. So that I've been happy with. The one thing I'm not happy with on the rack is I think it needs to go higher. And so I had originally bought these brackets here. Those are for a rooftop tent, and I was going to use those underneath here to make this rack higher. Chose not to at the time of doing it, and then now I'm going to have to order another set and do it, since I've utilized these brackets for the awnings and such. So that's what we did. We'll just move on to that. So we used this awning, or this bracket here, and we mounted the awning bracket to it for the OVS shower bathroom enclosure. So it's mounted on both sides here. And we used those aftermarket brackets, the ones that they come with. I'm not a fan of. I like these gusseted ones. And then I mounted this used to be mounted inside the bed. But I took it out for space reasons, and it was kind of in the way. And then I mounted it up here between these. Oh, it's kind of a good spot-ish. The only problem is getting in here, getting into the fridge. You know, you bang your head on this, and so I may relocate that. I may take it off this truck altogether. Those things are dangerous as all get out, and that thing is purely here for emergencies only. I mean, I will use it only at the very last resort. We took a set of these Baja Design Squadrons. I mounted them here, and it's kind of this, it's the scene lighting, so it floods out really nice. You've probably seen it on the video, or you've seen it on some of the thumbnails. And so one thing I did have to do with the rack is I added this. You can't see it all the way through, but in some places you can. I had to add this sealant in here, which is coming out in certain places. And what I had available to me when I was doing the install was gray. So we'll order some black and redo that at some point when I get around to it. So right up here, obviously, as you can see, this is where the Gazelle tent rides for the moment. I just ordered the relocation bracket for the water port. It's right here. I don't like it back here. And so we'll relocate it up here, and then I'll have to figure out what to do with the Gazelle tent. We've also got a front runner jerry can holder. It has the cage, you know, the cage that comes over the top and locks and does all of that. I use that if I'm using the 2 jerry cans, but if I'm just hauling around this one little one for diesel, for the diesel heater, I don't bother with it. Let's put this tailgate back up. What I did do, which is kind of nice, and you may or may not have seen, is I mounted in these grooves on both these Bille bars. I put that ARB strip, or the LED strip lighting in there. You can see it, and that stuff works like a champ for lighting up this bed when it's dark. And then I just attached it to, tied it into the bed lights that are already in this truck, and so we just tied it into that. We used this is the front runner propane bracket to hold the propane bottles, and it's adjustable. It will hold the big ones, it'll hold the tiny ones. The base pieces there just slide in and out to accommodate different sizes. And then all through this base rack, the whole idea with it is that it uses these proprietary clamps that pinch. And so I used them everywhere I could during the install to drill as few holes as possible in the rack. So right now the only holes I had to drill in the rack were right there for those brackets. I need to touch those up, already starting to rust. And the mounting bolt right there for each corner where it mounts to the rack. All right. These are the quick fist clamps. I use those everywhere in the truck. They're all over holding things, but I keep one shovel here. This is the one I use all the time. It's the spade end, better for digging and whatnot. I keep this one in here for snow and if I have to smooth something out or level something out. All right. So as you can see up top here, this is the Goal Zero Boulder 100 solar panel. Works like a champ. This is a Pelican. Basically, it's a rifle case, the 1750. And then I've got a set of these traction boards mounted to the top of that. And then the Gazelle rides here. So then you can kind of get an idea of the mounting tray. It's actually a really nice tray. It fits a case of water if you want to throw a case of water up there if you don't have any space for it. So we've got the Baja designs on this side as well. And then this is the 8-foot awning, which you've seen numerous times. The bracket that I use here, you know, it's just that industrial bracketry. Bille Bars makes a bracket set up for these awnings, but they want like $300 for the whole thing. And I was like, and I might have, you know, $20 each wrapped up in those, and they work just fine, and they're nice and stiff. So in here, the step stool. So in there is just some recovery gear, some tools, things like that I just like to keep accessible here, in case I need to pull somebody out or in case they need to pull me out. And these Retrax bed covers, I really do like. I think they're fairly decent value for their money. They do leak slightly, so you do have to take that into account. It's not bad. I mean, they just dribble here and there. I haven't ruined anything or gotten anything soaked back here yet from the rain. I did add the Retrax makes this tailgate gasket that goes all the way across, and I added that to help seal out the dirt and the weather from getting in the back of the truck, and it works really, really well. I hardly ever have any dirt back here. And as you can see, I use those gusseted brackets everywhere just because I like them. I think they're strong. These right here, this right here, is the original bracket that they're supposed to be mounted on. I used it as a way to elevate this one back here, this 4.5 footer, get it a little higher so I can walk under it. And then I went ahead and I left the tops on here because I may mount a little piece of lighting or something up there just for some backup lights, or I don't know, something. But I left them there for the time being. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, if you have any questions, let me know. It's a pretty good option, you know. I mean, you know, obviously the Diamondback or the cantilevered style bed covers are pretty much 100% waterproof. So if that's what you're looking for, you know, the Retrax probably isn't the best option for you. And then, like I said, you can get, if you order it with the T-slot here, you have, you know, a couple other companies that you can choose from. I think there's this setup right here, I think it's Bille bars, and I think there's another brand, I forget. Comparable in price. I don't remember why I chose these guys, but been super happy with them. And then I just leave the cord for the solar panel. I leave it dangling right there, which works pretty good. And then I just pull it out of the truck that charges the jacker. I just pull that cable out and plug it in, and then we are good to go at that point. All right, guys, that's it on this one. We will do some more videos, I think, on the contents of the back of the truck and stuff. So stay tuned for more. And if you have any questions about any of the dimensions or costs or anything associated with the racks and the Bille bar things, just let me know in the comments, and I will answer them promptly. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.